Hi, this is Andrea from Dental Facial Imaging Northwest, formerly known as Northwest Radiography. And today I'm going to give you a tutorial on the Anatomage viewer that you're receiving through the secure email. This is the one that comes to you embedded in with the DICOM. So once you open your file, you just want to double check your patient name, of course, first thing. And then one of the things I recommend you do very first is you'll see the three tabs at the top: section, arch section, and gallery. So first click to arch section, and we want to click on, you'll see that this mandible is not showing the full mandible, and that may be something you want to see. So in order to change the field of view here, you're going to go to the little tab that has a face and a circle with an arrow here. If you can see where my mouse is pointing, the reorientation tab. And this is one of the first things I recommend that you do, just to make sure the field of view that you need is visible to you. So it takes you to this window, and you can see here where the green horizontal line here is running up above the mandible a bit, and we want to bring that down in order to allow that full mandible to be in the field of view. Depending on what area you have of interest, you might want to move the upper green line down a little bit so that you aren't looking at such a large space, but I'm going to leave it high just so the TMJs are visible in this particular presentation. So once you have that field of view set the way you want it, you just click on that reorientation tab again, and that takes you back to the main page here under arch section. Now, a little word on the gallery tab. If you had requested that we did cross sections for you, or that we extracted a pan or ceph, that is where you would find those things that we would have done for you and uploaded them into the gallery. So if you have any special workups, that's where you find them under the gallery tab. But most of what you'll be doing under the arch section tab. So the next thing I want to show you is how to change the layout, because this is maybe not the page that you like to see. Maybe you want to see a few more cross sections or less cross sections. And how we do that is we use the change layout here, and that opens up the choices of how you want to view the images. And also the change layout button up above here, the little blue icon where my mouse is pointing to your layout, is another way to do the same thing. So if we wanted just the pano, but we wanted quite a few cross sections, that is the way you would select that. You can also select the axial views versus cross views in this window. So I'm going to take it back to our kind of usual and customary layout, but you can set it up to have the layout any way you choose. So here we're on mandible. It's just the default. If you click on maxilla, that will allow you to work through it that way. I'm just going to leave it on the maxilla for now. And we're going to work on our spline points. So we want to bring these over the teeth so that we can create a little bit better pan down below here. So we're just bringing that area of interest by moving our spline points, and that pan is beginning to come to life a little bit better. Oops, I lost it there. Let's take that back up. And then you also can just, if you're really wanting this pan to be defined, you can click on X-ray here. So here I'm going to click on the word X-ray in the left side, and that creates what we're all used to, really looking at as a pan. If you double click, that pulls that pan up, double click again, and that'll decrease it back down. And if we wanted to see the roots of those teeth a little bit better, we can still play around with our spline points in order to get those to look more like we want it to show. So one of the other things I like to show on this is the ruler for the spline points. This ruler corresponds with the ruler at the bottom of your pano, which also corresponds with your cross sections. So you'll see my green lines that are representing my cross sections, my green line here, which is representing where that cross section is, and then my cross sections here. So I'm about at 116 here, about 116 here, and then over here you can see 116, 117, and 118. So when you click in this window with your cross sections and use the roller wheel on your mouse, you can slowly roll through those cross sections, and you'll see those green lines moving on the panel and on the axial view. And that really gives you a good feel for where you are in the mouth. So those are good quick tools to use for that. Now if you wanted to hone in a little bit more on this particular cross section, you can double click and that will open it. You can still rotate through with your mouse wheel, and you're still watching the numbers here, so you can still refer back to that number on the panel or the axial view, even if you're just looking at it here. You say you found what you really needed to see, and you double click, and that takes you back to the window, and then you'll see that you've moved your slices to this particular point. So the next thing I want to show is what all the different icons do up above. So of course this is your home icon. This one, the next one over here is to create your custom arch spline. So if you didn't like the way this one was, you can click on that and begin to create one. I'm not going to demonstrate that in this video, but you can play with that a bit to see how that works. This is where you turn on and off the ruler for your spline. The next one is your distance measurement. So if we were wanting to, let's go ahead and just blow this cross section up here for a minute. If we want to take a measurement, let's say from this point to this point, that's what you use the distance measure, how you would use a distance measurement. So it's from any one point, any 2 points, I should say. And once you get that measurement, if you are not happy with the way that turned out, you want to try that again, go ahead and click on the green. It turns red, and then hit your delete key, and that'll take that away. So then you can go back up and select it again, and then make a different measurement. So we're going to, once again, we're going to click on the green, we're going to click and then escape, and that's, or delete, and that's going to take that away. So double click to get back out of your cross section and back to your page here. So I'm going to move through a little bit and come back forward. So we have kind of a nice incisor here, and if you were doing an angle, you might want to come from this point. Oh, angle. Here's my little angle icon. Let's see if it wants to behave this time. This, come on, icon. This point to this point to this point, and that gives you your degrees and such. So that's a way to do angular measurements, is with that particular icon, the fifth one in angle measurements. And same with any of these measurements that you do. If you click on the green, it will turn red, and then hit delete, and that will take that back away. The next one is just your area measurement. So as you can imagine, that's one that you would just click around in order to measure an area of interest. You probably wouldn't be doing this, but that gives you an example. And then once again, to take that away, you turn it red and hit your delete key, and it's gone. So those are all your measurement tools. You can use the arrow key to denote something of interest, and you can also use the circle to circle something of interest. So if I thought, this is my area that I want you to pay attention to, that would be how you use the circle. And then text, you can actually add text to that arrow or that circle in order to point out what you'd like to say about that. So once again, to take those things away, you turn it to red and it goes away. Turn the circle to red, it goes away. Turn the arrow to red by clicking on it and deleting it with your keyboard, and those things will be removed. Your Hounsfield measurement is here. If you click, you can use whatever type of shape you'd like. I'm just going to grab a quick circle, and if I say I want to measure the bone right in this area, oh, come on, come back here. Circle, and I want to measure the bone here in this area. Let's take it back right about there. And that gives you your measurement. And just as anything else, you're going to click on it and delete it. Let's see. Your cross-section view, that will flip it, I do believe, when it's in the regular view. So, if I can get back to it, it's just double click, and sometimes I double click too quickly and it takes it back to the cross section instead of staying on the page where I'd like it to stay. We've talked about change layout. This particular icon is to be able to take away your vertical and horizontal lines. So if you were wanting to extract that pan and you didn't want that green and red line across there, you would use the little skull here with the cross section lines and remove that. The eye here next door is information display. So right now my patient name is showing, but if I was going to do some sort of a presentation or was worried about HIPAA for some reason, I could clip on that eye and my patient information would be removed. So that is how you use that one. And then the little video is if you're moving through an airway or something along that line. So those are your icons. Now, one of the things that we've had requests for is tracing a nerve, and that's why we've been sending this particular viewer, because the one through the Anatomage cloud didn't give you the capability to trace a nerve. So if you chose to trace a nerve, and this, let me adjust my contrast and sharpness or brightness here a little bit to see if we can see that nerve a little bit better. And you can also here on the left under sharpening, right now it's on normal. If we could change that to hard, sometimes even sharp or very sharp, you may be able to see that nerve a little bit better. So play with that. Go from mild, hard, sharp, whatever works best for you, and then play with your contrast and your brightness to see if you can create something that gives you a little better view. So I've got a little bit of a view here, so I can at least give you a demonstration of, you want to click on new nerve, and then as you do that, you're just going to be clicking along the nerve path to create your nerve path. The other thing we can do is we can do that through the cross sections. So if you were in the cross sections, and I'm going to take that back from sharp just because I'm not seeing that in the cross sections quite as well. So let's see if we can get a little bit clearer view in our cross sections by adjusting our brightness and our contrast. And then we can click on new nerve there, and then we could start, let's take it back by rolling our wheel on our mouse until we see where that nerve, let me put my cross lines back in so I can see where I am. Let's see, I'm going to keep going here with my roller wheel on my mouse until I come to right about where we expect that nerve to start coming in. And you can see there, so you can click on that, and then as you scroll through, you can just kind of follow the fact that it came in here, it's here, and just keep following that nerve in the cross sections as you go, and it'll add it here on your pan too. So that's a quick demonstration on how to do nerve tracing. Of course, it's up to you on how you use that. say done when you're finished. And if we traced the whole nerve, it would show the whole pathway there. A couple of shortcuts for you to use that are quite helpful, we've found. If you hold down the shift key and your left mouse, it allows you to move things back and forth and up and down in a view. If if this was down here a little bit and you wanted to move it up, the shift key and your left mouse allows for that. I kind of think of it as allows me to shift it around. If I want to have control of how big or small the picture is there, I would hold control and my left mouse, and I can make it smaller or bigger to kind of hone in on an area. So I want a lot of control on how big or small it is, so I use control and my left mouse for that particular shortcut. Now, we know that there is not a way for you to save things to the gallery, so one of the things that we have suggested to people if they have something that they want to save is to use the Windows shortcut, which is Shift, Windows key, and the S. And that will give you your Microsoft Snap here, where we can go ahead and choose this window, and then it'll save that to wherever you want to save that on your computer. So that is Shift, Windows icon, S, and then you can choose which area you'd like to save. So those are a couple of the shortcuts that we use and that are helpful to kind of to be able to save things and add them to correspondence and things like that. So that's kind of the main areas of interest on this particular viewer. If you have any further questions, please feel free to call the lab. We're always available to help the best we can. Anatomage is also available to help if you have additional questions. So I hope that gets you going with your software and you enjoy the new scans. Thank you so much for your business. We really appreciate it.